Welcome to the First Five, where we flip the script, find God in real life, and get your soul fed in just 5 minutes flat. No fluff, no filters, just straight truth that hits different. And trust me, heaven's got something to say today. This is word that walks with you to work, rides with you in traffic, and sits right in the middle of your living room chaos. So whether you're sipping coffee, scrolling before the kids wake up, or just trying to get your mind right for the day, lock in. 5 minutes, one word, all fire. Let's flow. Good morning, family. It's Friyay. And here's today's reminder. Faith that doesn't flow is faith that's stuck. God's justice isn't stagnant. It's moving, cleansing, and powerful. So let's get into it. This is your first five. 5 minutes, one word, let's flow. So listen, have you ever lived in a city when it rains hard? You know the streets can't handle all that water, okay? It starts small, puddles on the curb, but before you know it, there's a flood washing everything in its path. That's the image Amos gives us, a justice so overwhelming that it can't be contained by politics, systems, or silence. Teens, ever seen a TikTok flood video? Waters always find the cracks. It refuses to stay boxed in. Millennials, you can sandbag all you want, but when God sends justice, it breaks through barriers. Elders, you remember when justice was the cry of the streets and the song of the church. So I titled today's message, Let It Roll Down Like Waters. In Amos 5:24, the prophet says, but let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Amos was preaching to a comfortable people, folks who had worship without justice, songs without compassion, and offerings without obedience. God was saying, I'm tired of empty religion. I want rivers of righteousness. Amos isn't talking about politics. He's talking about God's nature. Justice is not optional. It's the evidence of love. In Hebrew, justice, mishpah, and the righteousness, tzedakah, are inseparable. God's character is both. Centuries later, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and quoted this very verse. He didn't just dream of racial equality. He called for moral consistency. He said, no, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. MLK saw what Amos saw, that faith without justice is performance and worship without action is noise. So let's talk truth. God's justice is not a drip, it's a river. When Amos says, let it roll down, he's describing something continuous. Justice isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's not a protest moment. It's a prophetic movement. You can block a pipe, but you can't stop a river. When God's people live out justice, it flows through neighborhoods, schools, and nations, bringing life wherever it goes. Whew. Don't just pray for justice, practice it. Pay someone fairly. Speak up when silence feels safer. Love your neighbor in public, not just in prayer. Audre Lorde said, your silence will not protect you. My second point, God's justice begins with alignment, not anger. Amos didn't say, make justice roll. He said, let it. That means stop resisting what God's already trying to do. Justice starts when you stop trying to control the flow and start cooperating with it. Where in your life have you built dams, walls of fear, bias, or comfort that block God's justice from flowing through you? Whew. Dr. King knew this too. He wasn't calling for chaos. He was calling for order rooted in love. His nonviolent resistance wasn't weakness. It was alignment, a choice to let God's righteousness roll instead of letting hatred rule. He said, true peace is not merely the absence of tension. It is the presence of justice. Amen. And lastly, God's justice is generational. The rivers Amos envisioned were not just for Israel. They were for the world. Dr. King picked up that same current and carried it forward, knowing he might not see the promised land, but the flow wouldn't stop with him. Teens, the river's still running. Your voice matters. Don't let apathy dam the flow. Millennials, use your platform to pour out truth, not just opinions. Elders, you are the living streams that remind us where the water first broke through. Keep telling the story. Amos and King both point us to Jesus, the living water. He didn't just talk about justice, he embodied it. At the cross, mercy and righteousness met, and grace rolled down like a flood that's still cleansing hearts today. Amen. Where do you need to let justice roll this week in your speech, your spending, your relationships, or your silence? And our prayer for today: Lord, make me a vessel of your flow. Let justice roll through my life like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Wash away selfishness, silence, and fear. Use me to refresh dry places and revive weary hearts. Don't let me be a dam. Let me be a river. Amen. Do one act of public justice today. Speak truth, stand up, or serve someone without recognition. That's how the river keeps rolling. Well, there you have it. That was your first 5. Now go live it. 5 minutes, 1 word, all fire. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, when justice rolls, grace flows. I see you back here in the morning.